Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to Cilinix Crypto, and welcome to a new middle of the day market update this Saturday. A little bit of a weekend update here, and there actually is some news to talk about, so that's always great. That we have something to talk about in these videos, but I will also just do a full update on Bitcoin, XRP, Ethereum, Sui, Dogecoin, and Solana. So we will cover, and maybe altcoins as well, but then altcoins in general, right? So then we'll take a look at the others index probably, which is the total crypto market cap excluding the top 10. So that's what we'll do. There's no specific altcoins I think we need to focus on. I mean, you can see right here, Bonk is quite strong, but outside of that, most altcoins are just very, very correlated to Bitcoin, which is quite normal in the weekend and also after news. So let's get right into it, because the news that we need to talk about, and that's also why I have a little bit of a clickbait thumbnail, is this, that Trump says US will impose 30% tariffs on EU and Mexico from August the 1st. And Ursula von der Leyen has said, we will take all necessary steps to safeguard EU interests, including the adoption of proportionate countermeasures if required. So that's kind of what we were fearing, right? Renewed trade tensions and tariffs between the United States and EU, which, by the way, it's quite major, right? I mean, it's I believe, if I'm not mistaken, but I believe the trade between the United States and EU is still bigger than the trade between the US and China. And 30% tariffs are quite major. So in general, like, does this increase the risk and in the markets, and is this bad for the markets? Look, fundamentally, yes, but there's some more caveats to this, right? I mean, bad news is not always bad. I mean, first of all, I believe in interviews last week, Trump has already said that he was most likely going to post these letters or send these letters in the next couple of days. So it was already kind of to be expected. Now, 30% is maybe a little bit high, but ultimately they're going into effect August the 1st, and the EU and the United States are still negotiating. It's not all of a sudden that these tariffs replace the negotiations. No, the negotiations are still ongoing. So yes, I mean, if this sticks around, and the negotiations don't lead anywhere, like, are we going to pull back then? Yes, certainly. Can we actually pull back still later today, and can we pull back during the market opening tomorrow? Also, yes, it is a possibility, right? I mean, like I said, ultimately, fundamentally, it's bad news, and it does increase the risk in the markets. And risk for cryptocurrencies is not great. But at this point of time, I do think we need to stay level-headed and say, you know, as long as Bitcoin is holding 117.2, which is the week low we formed, and as long as Bitcoin is holding that 236 fib right here at 116.5, I think we're good. So ultimately, what I said this morning is I expect stability. And from that stability, actually, I would say it's more likely to get a short squeeze and then a pullback. And that's still what I expect, regardless of the news. And I think the market price action that we're seeing so far is also in line with that. So yeah, it's bad news, like I said, and it's definitely a reason to be cautious, but ultimately it's not a reason to go 100x short or to expect a crash, right? So I don't think there's a major crash warning. Is there, or a major crash probability? Is there a chance that we are going to pull back lower? Yes. All right. And we spoke about that this morning as well. Then we're looking at that level around 114, 115, and potentially 112 if it goes south. Now, talking about some other coins, not much has changed since this morning, but just to go over it briefly, XRP is still at those highs. I expect a pullback at least into the point of control at 2.5, 2.45. Although, would I short XRP? No. If I were to short something, I would much rather, which is quite strange, but I would much rather short Bitcoin than XRP. XRP has a lot of momentum still. Ethereum, a little bit less so. Ethereum, I think it's likely we're going to pull back as well. I mean, like I said, on the in the next week or so, I do expect a pullback. And since everything is very correlated with Bitcoin, I have pretty similar thoughts on XRP, Ethereum, and Bitcoin, right? Short squeeze and then a pullback. So for Ethereum, I think the two main levels I'm looking at are between 2800 and 2700. For XRP, like I said, it's 2.5, 2.4. When we're looking at SUI, I expect exactly the same. The main level to look at is 3.1. That looks like a very interesting level. Solana, I don't know. Solana looks a little bit weak. So I would say if you are going to trade majors, stay away from Solana for now. I personally like to trade relative strength, and Solana at this point of time is not relative strength. And lastly, Dogecoin left some major imbalances right here towards 19 and 18.5 cents. I think we're going to fill those, get some stability, and then rally up higher as well. So my thoughts across the markets are quite similar, which also means that if I'm wrong about Bitcoin, I'm going to be wrong about all these majors, right? But that's just a little bit of a risk management 101. That's also why if you open a long on Bitcoin, XRP, and Solana, you're not diversified, right? It's very correlated, and therefore, it's just the risk of trading. Now, altcoins in general, I think something similar, but altcoins in general, I think can pull back a little bit deeper, right? We hit that value area high, which we're breaking down below right now. We hit the yearly rolling VWAP. I think it's quite likely that we're going to pull back a little bit deeper than those majors into that 90-day rolling VWAP, into the 12-hour 200 EMA, before heading up higher into the equal highs right here at the beginning of May. And that's what I think you need to know. We have quite a lot of news next week. I will keep you updated on that tomorrow, so keep an eye on the channel then as well. But for now, that's it. So thank you for watching. Have a great Saturday and have a great weekend, everybody. And bye.